Stop. It's fine.
Is it hurting you that much?
Are we gonna start this video or what?
What's up, guys? This is a video that I said I was gonna do
How long ago?
about 9 months ago now. Yeah. And that is to talk about our birth story, Jovi's birth story, and what all happened. And I forget that so many people don't know what happened. And that's because I've been waiting to do this video and I haven't even mentioned anything on social media. So we finally are able to sit down and video this, and I have my lovely hubby on with me. Normally he's not on social media, but he's making an appearance. So this will be a long one. Grab some coffee and just hang out with us and listen to our awesome story, our testimony about God's faithfulness, and much more.
What's up, guys? Instafam. I'm at the hospital right now. It looks like we're gonna be meeting our girl tonight, so be keeping us in your prayers.
So, July 2nd, 2019.
That was the day.
Yeah. We're just gonna kind of talk what that day looked like. I was 26 weeks and 6 days pregnant. And we just woke up, went to a coffee shop.
Our usual.
The Colony.
Colony KC.
Yes, Colony KC.
That's North KC?
Yeah. One off of Armour Road.
Yeah.
And
Good stuff.
went to the coffee shop. Everything's kind of per usual. And what I thought was happening in my stomach was Jovi balling up. It just felt like she was balling up like really tight in one spot. And that kept happening every so often when we went to get coffee. And then what did we do next after coffee?
We went to the movies. We went and saw, was it The Amazing Spider-Man? Because we had talked about wanting to watch it, and then somebody that was in the coffee shop, they were like talking.
Kid.
Yeah, it was talking about it, and we're like, yeah, that's what we should do today.
I mean, we were both off. Why were we off? It was a Tuesday.
I was just trying to think about that. Is it because it was the day before 4th of July?
The day before? It was July 2nd.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I was trying to think about that. Maybe it was just randomly my scheduled day of the week off.
Maybe.
Could have been.
Yeah, it was on a Tuesday. So we went home after coffee, and I started telling Alex about my concern that I hadn't really felt Jovi kicking a lot, which normally it was like I would eat something, I would drink something, and she would just go to town. It was like clockwork. And I wasn't really feeling her a whole bunch, other than that whole balling up at the coffee shop. And we were contemplating not going to the movies, and I was like, no, I still want to go. And I felt like it was a good time for me to kind of distract, not only distraction, but to like kind of, we had been going all morning and busy, so I thought it was a good opportunity for me to just like sit there and just kind of feel and really hone in on her. And Alex prayed, we both prayed over me so that I would have peace, and then over Jovi. And then we went to the movies. And I felt her kick a couple times. And so that kind of gave me peace of mind. Like, okay, she's kicking.
Yeah, because you were really concerned.
I was. I was. You know, like not only pregnant and have hormones that may just make you a little crazy, but on top of that, just like we're new to this, and she always kicks, and you know, not kicking it seems to be like an issue. And then what? Went to the movies, felt her kick.
We went right home to get ready for our study group. After that, I think that was right after.
Yeah. I was a chapel group leader. Whoop whoop, chapel groups. They're about to start here soon.
The best.
Shameless plug. We love you, Tanya. We came home. Eloy and Chris came over as well, because Eloy was co-leading with me. And we were gonna have a pancake bar. We're super excited. We're gonna make all these pancakes, and we had like whipped cream and all these stuff to go on pancakes. It was gonna be really fun. And I was making pancakes. Oh, I was starting to, and I started feeling what I thought maybe could be contractions. I wasn't sure, because it's my first time ever being pregnant. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just Braxton Hicks. I'm 26 weeks pregnant. Like, it has to be Braxton Hicks. But me, like, walking around, moving, wasn't changing anything. It was still happening. And I started counting. I was like, this is happening every 3 minutes. This is very frequent. Like, it happens right at 3 minutes every time. So I took Alex in the bedroom and asked Eloy and Chris to continue making pancakes. And I go and I tell Alex what was going on. Do you remember?
Yeah, you told me what you're feeling, and I said you should call Laurel, because so our best friends, Alex and Laurel, they had their baby boy Henry like not long before that, and he was super preemie.
He was 28 weeks.
Was he 28 weeks?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
And I said you should call Laurel, because she would be a person that could give you advice. You're like, no, I don't want to call Laurel.
I'll just text her. I'll just text her.
I was like, call Laurel. Just, okay. And I think, did I dial it for you?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
I forced you to call her.
He put it on speaker. And so Laurel picked up, and I was like, hey, question. How did you know that you were going into labor? And just kind of talked a little bit. And she just encouraged me to just go to the hospital. As she was telling me this, like, I wasn't sobbing, like, out, just tears were just streaming, because I just knew something was gonna happen, and I didn't want to go to the hospital because that would make it real. Just kind of, that's why I just wanted to text her in the first place. Like, it's not a big deal. It's fine. But she encouraged me to just go to the hospital. They could check me, and, you know, you just say, put me on bed rest. So I was crying. But you want to tell about what you were feeling?
You cried more during your pregnancy than you've ever cried in your entire life, and that's a fact. So what's really funny is, so when did we find out that we were having a girl? It was like
2 weeks before.
Yeah. So I've always been such a sucker for baby girls, and I have like such a big heart for like a relationship between like a dad and his daughter, and I wanted a girl so bad, and I tried to act like I didn't care, like I could go either way, like not a big deal. You know, everyone would always ask me, and I would always say that I don't care. You know, I'll be happy no matter what. Yeah, just a healthy baby, like everyone else says. But secretly, I really, really wanted a girl. And so we found out that we're having a girl, and I was just like stoked out of my mind. And like the week before, I was like, man, I cannot believe that we're gonna have to wait until September to meet our daughter. Like, I'm so... Were you doing September? October? Shoot. That's our anniversary. Close, different dates, different
Close.
important dates, whatever, it's
Yeah.
fine. I can't believe we're gonna have to wait until then to meet her because I'm so, like, I want to meet my daughter so bad. And the decision was made to go to the hospital, and I'd already been feeling like that. And I just had this feeling like I'm gonna meet my daughter tonight. And I obviously did not tell Glory because I didn't want to freak her out, but I really had a feeling like she was coming. And so when we found out that we decided we were going to the hospital, I went and I put on my like comfiest tennis shoes because I just had a feeling like I was going to be standing for a good chunk of the night. So
Yeah, so we made the decision. We started going out of the bedroom to go talk to Eloy and Chris, and I was a mess because I was like, I don't want to go. Like, this was going to the hospital made it real, and I was just like crying. I was like, we're gonna go to the hospital. I think something's wrong. And poor Eloy, great leader, great friend.
my guy.
It was my turn to lead that night, and I was like, we had to leave.
Your turn. You're up.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And yeah, so we left and left them in charge with pancakes and group. And on our way, I think, you texted Pastor Troy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I texted my mom and my dad and said, hey, just so you know, I think I'm having contractions. Not really sure. Going to the hospital to get checked out. And I think Pastor Troy called.
I text a good handful of people. I can't remember
Okay.
who all I text, but
Probably like
PT for sure.
Yeah. Pastor Troy called and just kind of was wanting to know what was going on. And we're just like, we're going to go check it out. We're going to see, think maybe having contractions. We don't know. We're just going to go check it out. They started getting a little bit more intense, the contractions. I still wasn't in pain, but it was just
they never were that bad.
No, it was like it was a tightening sensation. Like, it was never really pain. It was just kind of like, ooh, that's weird and a little uncomfortable, but not pain. So we get there, and we hadn't even, I'm 26 weeks pregnant in 6 days. We hadn't did a walkthrough of our hospital.
Yeah.
We don't have a bag ready, nothing. We're going to go check it out, like, see if everything's fine.
We had 3 months. We had so much more to do.
Yeah. And so we go and talk to the lady at the front desk, and we're just like, I think I'm having contractions. I don't really know. And we sat there for a good, like, maybe 5 minutes before we went back. We went back to the triage, and it's such a blur. They weren't even going to check and see if I was dilated at all. They were like, you're probably just dehydrated. And in my mind, I'm like, I drink a lot of water. That's all I drink. That and 1 cup of coffee a day. Like, I feel like I was not dehydrated. And I was like cutting up with the nurse and laughing and just cracking jokes. And then my doctor, Dr. Proffer, she was actually on call that night.
She's the best.
Yes. She came in, she's like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here for another few months. I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, well, we're just going to check. I'm going to check and see, like, what's going on.
Well, because they had asked you all the questions too. They're like, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you drank water? Have you, like, all of these things? No. Like, all of the things that could induce, like, those symptoms. And so, because they weren't going to check, and then she's like, well, let's go ahead and check you just to be safe.
Yeah. And she did. And she was like, well, change of plans. You're dilated at 9. And the moment she said that, I don't remember what she said afterwards, but I started sobbing. That was like my freak out moment. And poor Alex didn't know what that meant.
when I was up, because I was trying to keep people up to date, because everyone was asking about how Delora was doing and what's going on. I was like, they said she was dilated to 9 centimeters or millimeters or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, and 10 is far you can dilate to, and I was at 9. And so I had my freak out moment, and immediately Dr. Proffer just started reassuring me, like, everything's okay, you did nothing wrong, you did nothing to cause this. I had my twin girls at like 28, 29 weeks.
Something like that. They were early.
And they're like, I don't know, they're older now. They survived. She was like, girls are fighters. And she just like immediately just started affirming me. And from that moment, like after I had my breakdown, from that moment, I was just completely in peace. Like it was almost numbing, like how much peace I had. And which was just crazy. I did remember when before they wheeled me out of the triage, the nurse that was helping, she was like, what did she say? Something like, you've been in labor this whole time?
She could not believe it.
Yeah, she's like, you're just cracking up jokes.
She's like, we were joking. How are you in labor right now? Yeah, that was funny. I think her name was Maddie.
We had a lot of awesome nurses.
Yeah, they were amazing. And they all wrote like Deloria a letter. And
we need to write them another letter back. Yeah. The picture of Jovi.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, they rolled me out down the hall, and I was just at peace is the only way I can say it. I just, no fear, no concern, no worry, just everything, God's got us. Everything's going to be okay.
I just remembered we decided on Jovi's middle name that night because we were in the hospital. We already knew that it was gonna be Jovi. We had that set since before you conceived.
No,
are you sure?
I'm not.
We had it picked out super early,
We did.
like almost from the day we started trying. But we were still going back and forth on a middle name, and because I knew that Jovi was coming, I was like, oh, hey, remember we were talking about middle names? Like, we had it narrowed down to 2. And I was like, what did you think? And literally, like, while we were waiting in the lobby to get to the triage room, we decided on Claire. So,
yeah,
I just remember that.
That's
Anyways,
crazy.
Go ahead.
So get in the room, and Alex, you brought my speaker, or did you play it on the phone? Like, we started playing worship music, and
Just on the phone.
We were in the triage, and I or you tried to call my mom.
We had been trying to call your parents.
We've been trying to call my parents. They were not answering.
Call, text,
yes.
several times, both of them.
Finally, we texted them and let them know, like, hey, I'm delivering. I'm in labor. And we didn't hear from them for a good little bit.
Yeah.
Good little bit. So everything's good. I decided I wasn't gonna do an epidural. I was gonna wait because I was like, I'm dilated at 9. I only got one more to go. She's like this big. I'm not really gonna need it. So I waited for a little bit. And then I'm trying to think what else. My mom called, and Alex asked me, like, hey, do you want me to put on speaker? And I was just like, no, like, you answer it. I'm okay.
Which is a really good thing, because I was like, oh, I can just put on speaker, then we could talk to her. And I answered the phone, and I'm like, thank God. Because Dolores, she's like, she's cool, she's calm. She's like, it's all right, we got this. Like, everything's fine. It's going to work out. And so I answer the phone, and Susan is hysterical on the phone. Completely hysterical, like sobbing, like can't even hardly speak.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she just kept saying, are you serious? Are you serious? Like completely hysterical. And I'm like, you know what? Thank God that I did not put that phone on speaker because that would have freaked you out for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Mom. They were watching the Spider-Man movie. It's Amazing Spider-Man.
Was that the movie that they were watching?
Yes.
I didn't realize that we watched it on the same day. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, they were in the movies. And I always joke about...
Always.
Like, anytime I try to call my mom and she doesn't answer, I want to call my dad and he doesn't answer, and I'm like, well, thank God. Yeah, if I was in trouble, if I really needed them, like, what the crap? And it happened. So then Alex got off the phone with my mom. They just went in and just like grabbed everything, threw it in the van, hauled it from Alabama to KC.
Left that night.
Yeah, they left that night. Like as soon as they got off the phone, him. I don't know.
I don't know what you're saying.
I got confused with my words.
Big surprise.
Okay, so Jovi, everything was fine. Her levels were good. I was good. They kind of like put me on my head a little bit to kind of slow the process down, because their goal was to not stress Jovi out at all. No, don't put any stress on the baby. Kind of let her come on her own, because my water hadn't broke or anything. So, yeah. So they did that, and I started contractions. I was breathing through them. I was doing fine. Like they were starting to be a little bit more intense, but I was breathing through them and they were bearable. And then they started going to my lower back, like around my back. And that's when the pain happened.
Give me the drugs. I changed my mind. I need drugs.
Yeah. I called my mom and just kind of like asked her, what should I do? Like, should I wait? I mean, she's barely gonna be anything. Like, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. But the doctor had said that she could come tonight. She could come tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Just kind of waiting for her to come on her own. Oh, and a cool side note, just how amazing God is. So when I was feeling like the day before, I could feel Jovi. She was sideways. Like I could feel her. She was definitely sideways. And that day, when I felt, I didn't know I was having contractions, but apparently I was in labor all day. I told Alex, like, I feel like she's in a different position. Like, I feel like she's like upside down. And this was way before we went to the hospital. I'm like, I feel like she's moved in a different spot. So we get to the hospital and she's head down. Like, she's ready.
She was ready to come.
She's ready to come.
That's my girl.
Crazy. Like most people have C-sections because of like they're in labor and baby needs to come out and they have to do an emergency C-section. At 26 weeks, she's head down, ready to go. Just crazy how God works. So yes, I decided the back pain, the back contractions, I needed the drugs. And it could have been days until she came. So I decided to get the epidural, and I'm so glad that I did. Yes, so glad I did. It was amazing. Originally getting it in was not. I was doing really good about breathing through my contractions, and then the guy came in and did the whole needle thing. And you were there watching me.
Yeah.
I stopped like breathing because I was so in the pain. It felt like he was grabbing my vertebrae and just like jiggling it. And then I hear the nurse say, "Hey, remember to breathe." And I'm like, "Oh my God, my baby." Like I have to breathe. And then once he got it in and gave me the meds, it was good. And then I had the catheter too, and that was not fun.
Sounds rough.
It was awful.
So thankful I'm a guy.
Yeah. You want to tell the cool story?
Oh yeah, we're just thinking of so when we found out Dolores in labor, they said there was a good chance that Jovi, once she was born, would have to get shipped to, was it Children's Mercy? Because they typically, so we delivered at Advent Health or Shawnee Mission Med. And which is like, we'd heard so many amazing things, nothing but good reviews. Everybody that had been there like had nothing but amazing things to say. Like that's really where we wanted to be. Definitely added bonus that it was right down the road from our house. Like,
5 minutes.
Yeah, even less maybe. Like right down the road from our house. And so we really wanted to be there. And they said we typically don't start admitting babies to the NICU until 27 weeks. And we came in when she was 26 weeks and 6 days. They said we may be able to make an exception since she's right on the limit. But if she comes at 26.6, she might have to get shipped out. Which, like, our NICU experience would have been so different if they would have moved her. So
yeah, so
she held on.
Yeah.
27 weeks.
My doctor came in. I was doing good. Finally got to rest with the epidural. Alex was sleeping on the couch. My doctor came in and said, hey, here's a couple options. We could wait for Jovi to come on, or she didn't say Jovi, baby to come on her own for her to break the water. And then what could potentially happen is scramble. Like once water breaks, she's flying out. And
could just be like the nurse in there.
Yeah. She said, or we could break your water, have all the equipment ready, have the team ready, like everything controlled, ready to go. And I was like, were you awake at that time? Or did I make that decision by myself?
I don't remember. It's kind of a blur.
I think he was asleep.
I think you woke me up and told me.
Yeah, I think I made a decision and then like, hey. I was like, yeah, let's do that because that sounds a lot better than being prepared and not scrambling. So it was like 3:30 and Alex kind of like woke up.
I was in the daze. I
all
passed
these people
out.
are
I passed
there.
out hard on that couch.
Yeah, it was 3:30 in the morning. And she's 27 weeks at this point. And yeah, I gave 2-3 good pushes and she came flying out.
I have never seen anything like that. So I'm standing on this side of Dolores as per request. And I mean, it's fine. I had not a real huge desire to be on the other end. But they literally, like, baby girl flew out of that thing. Like, she popped out and the doctor was like this almost because she came out so fast and she was so slippery and covered in goo and blood and gunk. And literally before the doctor caught her and even had time to place her on Dolores' tummy, she was crying.
Yep.
Like literally came out
Tiniest
crying.
little cry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she put her on top of me and that was like my first moment of being able to, yeah, she was so tiny. And then they put her on the incubator and warmed her up and wheeled her up to the NICU. And just the whole time I was like, even when I was third, like, all right, time, let's go. I felt peace. Like, yeah. I was not concerned at all. When I saw her, I was not concerned. And yeah,
I knew she came. I knew she came exactly when she was supposed to.
27
weeks.
Had
that feeling. Yeah.
27 weeks. Like, she barely missed the cutoff to be at the hospital that was 3 to 5 minutes away from us. Yeah. And just the best doctors, and they were just so encouraging and like kept telling me like, you're doing a great job. Like, you did so good. And Yeah, it was awesome.
Amazing.
And so then we moved to the room that I would be staying in for a few days. And was a couple days later, they told us they got the results back from the culture. So we just had the questions of why did she come? Why did she come at 27 weeks? It's not when she was supposed to come. So come to find out, they got the results back from my placenta. They did a culture on it, and there was bacteria that had started growing in the placenta. And so when she first came out, they gave her an antibiotic just to make sure, like, nothing, like, just to kill whatever bacteria came to her. And then to find out, they tested the umbilical cord and no bacteria was in that. So it was only in the placenta. And that just kind of made us like, wow, had I gone full term, we would not have our joyful, healthy baby girl. She would not be here today had she waited until her due date. She wouldn't be here. We would have a way different story to tell you right now.
Yeah.
And that just, everything around our story, her story, is just God. It was around July 4th, which we normally have rehearsals on Thursdays, and I already told the team we're not gonna have rehearsal. And then we reached out to our friend JR, asked him if he could help on Sunday. Like, everything was lined up just perfectly. And do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, just like literally every detail worked out.
Yeah.
From her being born early to being in the NICU. I mean, we had the most phenomenal NICU experience.
Oh my gosh.
Every nurse there, like, we still have relationships with the nurses there that took care of her she was their own daughter, It
became family.
Yeah, they took care, they went out of their way to take care of us for sure, like made sure that we were doing okay. And I mean, just about every day we got some form of letter they made us. We have her wall covered with scrapbook pages that her nurses made,
and little notes as well from Jovi to mom and dad.
Those were my favorite. We would get a note saying, "Hey mom, hey dad, I missed you last night. This is what I did with Nurse Jen last night." We would get update notes from Jovi. And we had the most phenomenal experience, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
No, absolutely not. Like, she came when she was supposed to. We got to see her develop outside of the womb. Like, where most people feel it, we got to actually see it and see the miracle of who Jovi is form and develop. I mean, our NICU experience was, really, it was a breeze.
Yeah.
The only thing that she had to overcome was just being early and having to develop her lungs. And she had one blood transfusion, which sounded a lot scarier in the moment. And then we realized, the transfusion of blood is, that much. Whereas, with an adult, it's, a lot. But with her, it was nothing. We were in the NICU for 68 days. She came home a month early. She came home, which is crazy. We started trying September 7th, 2018.
On our anniversary.
5-year
anniversary.
And because that was the plan. We weren't going to talk about kids until our 5-year. And then we got busy. And then she came home September 8th. A year later of us trying to have her. And it's just crazy. she came home. So her due date was October 2nd, and she came home September 8th. So almost a full month before she was even supposed to be due yet. And she was home and just so healthy
Yeah.
and precious. And
Jovi Claire means joyful and bright. And
yes.
she has definitely lived up to that. She
Yes.
has been such an amazing, amazing joy and light for us. And I know that so many people have already been touched by her joy.
Yes.
What's up?
Keep going.
Okay, well, that was kind of the end that I was going to say, but oh, she's waking up. We have her little monitor. She's, she just woke up from a nap. Hi, Bean. We were just talking about you.
I just wanted to get her for
You want to
everyone
come
see.
say hey?
You say hi with your bed head?
Hi, Nut Bug.
You
have a
would
good nap?
you would never know
You have a
that
good
this
nap?
little girl was a preemie.
You have a good nap?
You say hi to the camera? Oh, you say hi, Dada. Look, you see? You see? You see? Look. Hi. Hi.
You are like such in a daze right now.
I know, just ran in and grabbed her. We have her monitor up and I could see that she was awake. I was like, oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, so that is the birth story. That's you. Yeah.
Everything's doing good. I'm good. Baby is good. So right now we're just waiting for her to come on her own. She'll be 27 weeks tomorrow, but we serve an amazing God and He is faithful, and we are believing for an amazing, strong baby girl. So just keep us in your prayers.
Oh, hi, baby.
Say hi. Oh.
Oh, I know. You've had a long day, huh?
Man, you can tell she wants to open her eyes.
Uh-huh.
Soon, I think, yeah. How sweet are you?